Hey guys, this is Oracle Daphne. My name is Beth and I'm back today to talk about the lunar eclipse that's going on August 7th, 2017. And I may be pulling a card from one of my decks to talk about the energies that kind of supports the energies and supports my ideas about what the energy is and where, you know, we can kind of turn our attention at this time regarding this eclipse. To begin, I just want to say, give you guys the facts. Okay, so on August 7th at 2:21 p.m. That's East Coast time in the United States, there's a lunar eclipse at 15 degrees of Aquarius. I did a separate video for the solar eclipse that's happening on August 21st. And so you guys can definitely check that out. That is a free video for you guys to watch. I don't always talk about astrology on my channel. I have been trying to do more because I've been getting a lot of more, I don't know, feelings and information regarding these events, these astrological events. So, I wanted to do this video on the August 7th lunar eclipse in Aquarius. So to begin, you know, it's a full moon lunar eclipse. And I feel like with full moons, everybody needs to kind of watch out for that kind of erratic, you know, chaotic type energy that can happen. So the first thing I want to say is when you go out, I want you to pay attention to where you're driving and pay attention to where you're going. We are also in this, you know, soupy kind of Mercury retrograde pre-shadow energy. So you're definitely going to want to pay more closer attention to what you're doing, pay more closer attention to where you're driving, who's around you, because people are going to be more erratic at this time. Like any full moon, there's this sense of not chaos, but like erratic behavior or inconsistencies in behavior, or people changing their mind really quickly, kind of things. And so just kind of be aware of that. Okay, that's the first thing that I want to say. I also feel like I pulled the first card that I actually pulled, and I wasn't really intending to pull it. In my Marseille deck is the Queen of Pentacles. I pulled the Queen of Pentacles. You can see how there's a lot of writing on my cards. But the Queen of Pentacles, to me, talks about finances, talks about riches, or the wanting to have abundance. So there is also some element of abundance and or concern about abundance or finances, or strong focus on finances at this time, okay, on or around the lunar eclipse in Aquarius. Now, thinking about Aquarius, the sign of Aquarius, their finances are ruled by their second house, and that second house is of Pisces. And so this is where things can really turn around, because Aquarius's finances can turn around very quickly, similar to Pisces. So there's this strong element of going from rags to riches, going from riches to rags, having more than you expected, maybe finding money. I don't want people to go out and like think they're going to win the lottery. I mean, it could happen, but I guess what I want to say is things can happen sort of in a blink of an eye with eclipses in general, but also with this Aquarius energy, okay, and it's in Aquarius. So because it's like, to me, it's a combination of energies. It's this kind of financial focus, maybe wanting to get ahead in finances, maybe trying to push for a financial increase or a raise or a job. You know, the Queen of Pentacles is someone who's uber practical. So I guess I want to say that it may be some unexpected way of making money, or pulling in a second job, or pulling in some extra finances, some extra income on around that time. But I also think that there's some element of practicality and being cautious or careful about how you're spending your money at that time. So on or around that time. I'm getting a tingle on that, which is interesting. So because of like there's a combination of energies. There's this kind of erratic energy, the energy of the unexpected, plus this very financial focus, like trying to get ahead, trying to get more. It just may be, it may manifest in one of two ways. It may manifest in the unexpected job, or the unexpected pay increase, or the unexpected raise, or there's something about, you know, finding extra money. But then there's, on the other side, there's the unexpected loss, okay? And with the eclipse itself, there's this energy about, I feel like it talks about letting go of something so you make room for something else. And it ties in with the celebration of Lammas, which typically happens, is celebrated around the 31st, July 31st, or on August 1st. I'm going to read a few messages from, I have this little date book here, and this is what I'm reading from, okay? And Lunar, or it's also called Lammas. It's a Christian tradition. Lammas marks the first of the 3 grain harvests. Basically, this is like the harvest fest, the beginning of the harvest fest, okay? Because of, you know, this time of year, what's going on this time of year, so agriculturally. So there is something about agriculture at this time that may be more of a focus for a lot of people. People really getting into gardening, getting into being outside. This is a great time to celebrate what you have made, and kind of, I mean, things may have come to some kind of fruition as well, okay? Because this is the full moon lunar eclipse, there's some element of harvest or fruition. This is also talks about bread, baking bread. You may want to bake a special loaf of bread in the celebration of this, or bake something specifically using a grain. It doesn't have to be wheat. It could be any grain. I personally like sorghum. You know, you could use sorghum. You could use, you know, spelt. You could use einkorn. There's all different kinds of grains that you could use to bake something. So at this time, you may want to bake something in like the element of gratitude, and focus when you bake it that you're doing it out of gratitude to the earth, and gratitude to, well, and gratitude in general for all that you have, for the blessings that you do have. It talks about how Lunar is a time of sacrifice, of being willing to give something up to make room for something new. So it talks about giving up a bad habit or negative behavior, and it's a time of charity. So you may want to do a little donating, you know, maybe donate something that you have to Goodwill. It might be something small. It doesn't have to be like you clean out your entire closet and you take 10 bags of clothes to Goodwill. No. It's just like maybe doing a random act of kindness, or like I said, maybe donating something small, or doing something nice for someone else. That's what I want to say. I do feel like there's some element of, to me it's a celebration, it represents to me the celebration of the sun, okay, and the sun god Lu, okay, for some people, okay. Now, some people they have their own special religious beliefs, and this is not to you know, overshadow what or be disrespectful in any way of what anybody believes. But I actually think that because it's a lunar eclipse, it's like the lunar energy is sort of, the sun is the more focused, whereas the solar eclipse, the moon is more focused. So this is where I want to say that the time of celebrating your blessings and the light and being outside and anything that represents to you the sun, whatever that may be. It could be positive energy, it could be lighting a candle, whatever it is. I feel like it's going to kind of emphasize your gratitude for your blessings that you have. And it's interesting. So lunar eclipses typically are about releasing something, giving something up. That's the lunar eclipse. So this celebration of Lammas, or Lunar, whichever you want to call it, is very much timely to this lunar eclipse. I mean, you know, Lammas is celebrated around the 1st of August, and this lunar eclipse is happening on the 7th. So It's within the same week, so I feel like the energies are very similar. And I want to point out something else. I'm calling this lunar eclipse the bridge. It's a bridge. My guide showed me another card to talk about, and my other card talked about transition. It really is talking about setting yourself up for success rather than setting yourself up for failure. When you make a bridge or you go through a point in time in transition, there's a lot of insecurity and sure feelings about where things are going. And I know for a fact that there's a lot of people that are really, really, really concerned about a lot of the political stuff that's going on, a lot of decisions that are being made. I don't want to go too far into that, but most of you will probably understand and know what I'm trying to say. And so I just feel like those of you who are in a place where you just don't know, there's a lot of question marks in your life, it's okay. Because the lunar eclipse is going to be, I want to say, kind of like that bridge. The bridge from going from one thing to another. Letting go of something so something else can begin. It's a positive, I see it as a positive thing. It can feel negative because it's for some people, because at this time, this is when losses can occur. And again, because of the energy of Aquarius, we're talking overnight success or big losses. And on a very practical, mundane level, it could be where your hours get cut from something and you decide, you know what, I can't do this job any longer without these hours. I've got to figure something else out. So in some way, whatever loss may happen, it's going to turn out all right, because the universe does not like the void. The universe fills, okay? So if there's something that you're letting go of at the time, on or around the time of this lunar eclipse, know that there's going to be a positive thing that fills it afterwards. And here's the thing about transition. Some people do not know how to transition because they are so afraid. They're so afraid to let go of what they know. Or they're so afraid to let go of that stability or that security, so that they cannot take a leap. They can't take the leap. They can't trust that things are going to be all right. They inevitably have so much fear and doubt and worry that whatever that leap is, they cannot face it. They just can't face it. And the card about transition, my guide showed it was the diving board card, is really about people who they set themselves up for failure because they don't plan ahead and because they don't take any action steps to create, to carry them through a time where there's less. So again, it's a bridge from one thing to the next. The bridge connects two sides of something. And you can't, if there was no bridge, right, you would just dive off into like an empty swimming pool and get hurt and get burned and struggle and suffer. And that's not, I feel like this lunar eclipse is all about creating a bridge, so that, like a backup plan, if you will, but having a plan B. That's what's super important. I just feel like that's what my guide is showing me. It's creating that bridge, knowing that things are going to work out, knowing that you're going from one thing to the next, knowing that it doesn't have to work out exactly as you want it to be, because some people want things to go in a certain order. They want things to go a certain way, and because they can't control how things are going, then they get really frustrated and they get really confused, or they get really angry. I'm still trying to find that card. Hang on one second. Sorry about that. So I actually dropped the card. The card had fallen out of my deck, so I went through the entire deck. I was looking for it to show you guys, and it had fallen out. So, it's so great. Okay, so basically, this is what I call the diving board card. Not knowing, someone who doesn't know how to transition. Because I see this lunar eclipse as a transition point where a lot of people are going to be going, how am I supposed to get from point A to point B? If there's any loss, a lot of people are going to probably be freaking out. Freaking out that either they don't have what they need, or they can't find a way to get what they need, or somehow get through this time. Okay, again, it's sort of like, you could think of it as a tunnel where you're trying to get through, but I think of it as more like a bridge, okay? And a lot of people need to practice transition. It's very challenging for a lot of people. It doesn't really have much to do with any sign in particular, although fixed signs have a difficult time. Earth signs have a difficult time because, you know, people who are stubborn, you know, who are more stubborn, there are people that don't like to make changes. This is going to be a harder time, I guess, for some people, specifically those of you who don't want to make changes or who don't like going through a transition. And what I mean by that is people who don't know what's happening, or don't know how to solve a problem, or don't know how to make a necessary change or do something in their life that's going to change their circumstances. Okay, so in order to transition, the number one thing that's going to help you is if you have a job that's not paying all the bills, you need to get a second job. Okay, number one. Number two, and a lot of people don't even like looking for jobs. So if you have a job already, my suggestion is get online and start looking for another job, or start thinking about another job that you might want to do. Number two, okay, is leave a relationship even if there's no money to do so. This is the biggest problem people have, because people start to think, well, if I get a divorce, I won't be able to pay for 2 apartments, or I won't be able to pay for this mortgage plus an apartment someplace else. But if you really want to do something, you can find a way to do it. Whether it's maybe living with a family member, moving in with, you know, a friend, maybe for some people, you know, going to a parent's house. This is a lot of times when you transition, it's a temporary thing. People a lot of times don't want to do these kinds of things because they think in the end they're going to be unhappy, and they think longer term. But transition is usually a short-term thing. It's a short-term energy. It's not forever. So it's just getting you out of your circumstance into another set of circumstances that changes the energy and is beneficial. Okay, you know, so number 3 is make a plan. You may want to make a plan, make a goal, something that you're working towards. If you have no plan and you have no goal, then you need to write it down. So get out a, you know, journal, or get out a piece of paper, whatever, you know, and start thinking to yourself, okay, what's my plan? What are the steps that I need to take in order to get from point A to point B, or to get something done? Some people are very good at making lists. Others, they're more scattered. They don't write things down. They keep things in their head. So make sure you're getting a piece of paper. You can get a little, you know, planner if you want. Doesn't matter what you write it on. It just means you're thinking how to get out of a negative situation, A, or how to transition into a better one, B. Okay, and then number 4 is, for those of you who don't have a job, you need to get a job, and you need to do it quickly, which means this is where you take a job that's not necessarily your ideal position. A lot of people who are looking for jobs get stuck in thinking they want to change the world, they want to save the planet, they want to do something good for other people, and what they really just need is a job. They need to go get a job, 9 to 5, you know, even work in a restaurant, whatever it is. Something that's fast, something that's quick. I always say retail is fast, hospitality is fast, because you get hired almost on the spot, and you get hours. It's not the best hours, but at least it's something. So, and some people, and my guide just said, some people don't want to lose their benefits, so they end up not having a job, which then perpetuates the problem. So you're going to have to find a way to give up something, whether it's, maybe it's not getting, you know, you have to give up one thing to gain another, okay? And people don't like doing that. So this is just something to think about. This is the energy for this August 7th eclipse. Anyone with strong Gemini or Libra and or any fire signs, and you know, this is going to really affect you the most, I think. because usually what I see is I usually see fire signs and or Gemini or Libra have the hardest time transitioning. The Gemini overthinks it to the point where they just can't do it. Libra feels like they never have enough information in order to make a good decision. And then when they do make the decision, they torture themselves about what they just did. And the fire signs, they're just moving too fast and they don't take time to plan ahead. They don't take the time to make the plan and follow through. And sometimes fire signs can get very much stuck in a rut or get caught up in what other people want them to do, or what's best for their kids, or what's best for their partner, or what's best for the planet, and they just get sort of lost in following or sticking to a plan that they have made. So my suggestion, if you are a fire sign and you're watching, you need to write it down, make a plan, and stick to it. It doesn't matter what happens, stick to it anyways, because that's your plan. I just feel like there's this element of, not getting distracted, but this element of not following through. And in order to transition, you have to follow through. You can't just go halfway across the bridge and expect to get to the other side. You have to go all the way, So that's what has to happen in order for you to transition, okay? These are the things that I've learned from having a lot of clients and, trying to work on transitioning for myself personally. Transition is probably one of the hardest things for people to do. But it's very important that I'm talking about this because I feel like the energy of transition is going to apply here. I'm calling this the bridge eclipse for this reason. And follow through is key. Follow through is key. So no matter what happens, to me, it's sort of just like the journey of life. No matter what happens, you have to keep going. You have to think in the end that you're going to get somewhere. And even if you don't get somewhere, you don't get where you thought you were going to go, sometimes the journey can be fun. And sometimes there are things that are unexpected that can bring a lot of happiness and joy. So despite whatever, scares you about transitioning, whatever that may be, some of you, again, it's letting go of medical benefits or letting go of something that you're getting. Maybe it's unemployment, or maybe it's something that you're getting that you don't want to give up. That's why maybe you don't want to switch. That's why you don't want to change. Some of you, it's letting go of like a household or like a situation where it's some kind of structure. Maybe it's like you like the roommate that you have right now. You don't really want that to change, but in the end, you have to because, at the end of the quarter or whatever, they're moving out. So you have to figure out what you're going to do next. You have to put an ad in the post and say, I'm looking for a new roommate. You have to make the plan and follow through. Maybe it's to find a new place to live. For some people, it's finding a new place to live, My guide said there's going to be a shakeup. To me, it feels like it's a shakeup of circumstances, and that is going to make people change. It's going to make people nervous about where things are going, but really what they need to do is they need to take some steps to kind of writing out the transition and cover their ass as much as possible and not be freaked out by any losses that happen or that occur. So that's all I think that's all for now. That's what I'm really getting for this August 7th eclipse. I do feel like, we are still in this Mercury retrograde pre-shadow energy and it's going to be affecting it, but I don't feel like it's going to be affecting as strongly as when it hits during the solar eclipse. I feel like the Mercury retrograde energy is going to be stronger at that time. So I feel like this time is more almost like a ritual time, or a time to give thanks, almost like, the beginning part of, if you could think about it as like a mini Thanksgiving. So using creativity, giving thanks, maybe baking something, cooking something special, maybe going out to a nice meal. That would be good, because at least you were in that place of like being conscious about, and maybe it's being more conscious about what you eat. Maybe it's being conscious at this time of what you eat, what you're grateful for, and and breaking bread with someone, you know, or maybe, you know, going out to eat and eating something that's, you know, a good meal, like I said. So, so yeah, that's all for now. Thank you guys so much for liking, sharing, subscribing, Google Plusing. I send everyone big hugs, big kisses. And I will be back again for more videos, so stay tuned. Definitely give me a thumbs up. Definitely click the subscribe button, and I will be back again. All right, talk to you soon. Take care. All the best.